This is the Team Objection Podcast for October 4th, 2022, episode 547. I don't have a lot of information about what's happening here, but before I pass the wheel, I will say two things. Number one, if anybody in chat, like Doug, who's moderating or whatever, can let us know if Dave is audible.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I have a lot of love to give today.
He should be audible. I think we tested everything. I'm pretty confident it's fine, but just let me know for sure in the chat. Okay, great. I see confirmation.
No one is listening to the show.
Hello,
It's
America.
just the three of us.
In an echo chamber. But no, I see Josh and Maisie say, yeah. So that's nice. And number two, I just want to say I wanted to spend an entire segment talking about poker this week, and I decided it was not in the best interest of everybody who listens, so I'm not. But if you've seen any of the blow-ups on Twitter, including one tweet that got like 200,000 likes, just know that I really wanted to discuss this whole cheating allegation situation. I really did, but I just couldn't find a way to make it relevant. So I'm not going to waste time on it.
I'd like to hear about your thoughts after the show.
Can't even, not that I don't care, but I don't even know what you're talking about. So I have no opinion at all.
Basically, it was like a high-profile poker game. Like Phil Ivey was at this table. He was uninvolved in the situation. And Dave's gone super blurry for some reason.
Dave, you're blurry. Can you
There we go.
get your shit together, man?
Yes, it's my
Good
choice.
God, how many episodes in? Hundreds, 500 episodes in.
Just fixing things.
Chris
I'm
is
tweaking.
fixing something.
I'm fixing things on the fly. It's
okay,
fine.
so there's high stakes poker. Somebody's cheating.
And we've gotten to the point where now it's gone way beyond just one poker hand, and now it's like, is this misogyny? Is this a cheating scandal? Remember, did you hear about the anal beads controversy in chess?
Yes, I did, actually.
It's been, for niche sports, it's been a really tough month because there's been massive scandals in fishing where people were like, these like well-known champions were putting weights into their fish so they would win competitions. Like they were putting in like both other pieces of fish and actual like metal weights into their fish to win.
Cool.
And they won like $300,000 last year, so there's a lot of outrage about that. And then there was the Magnus Carlsen, like the number one chess player in the world, maybe of all time. He's up there with like Bobby Fischer territory. Basically like made one move against an opponent and then quit, which you don't resign in chess tournaments on move one unless you're trying to make a point, because his opponent, as it turns out from a Washington Post article today, Wall Street Journal, has cheated hundreds of times online, so this is his way of protesting. And then there was the poker one where it's basically like, do you really want me to go into it? I can do it in like 3 minutes.
Yes, let's do it.
Sure.
So the gist of it is this. Garrett Adelstein is one of the better cash game players of all time. Doesn't really have huge tournament success, doesn't play them a ton. Sort of like an even more extreme version of Phil Ivey in that sense. Regarded as a really good player, but doesn't play in tournaments, so doesn't have bracelets and shit. He's in a hand against a relative amateur who was supposedly staked by somebody else at the table, and they get into a weird hand where he has 8-7 of clubs and she has Jack-4 offsuit. And the flop comes 10-10-9 with 2 clubs. So Garrett has a straight flush draw. And he raises before the flop, she calls with Jack-4 off, but she was the big blind. He bets the flop and she calls. He bets the turn. She raises min. He shoves for 10 times that. And she sits there for about 3 minutes, hemming and hawing, looks at her cards for seemingly about 15 seconds, and then calls. Again, she has jack high.
She has
but
nothing.
That's beating Garrett's 8 high, because even though he has about 18 outs to hit, any 8-7 club or straight card, he hasn't made a hand yet. They decide to run the river twice because there's an all-in, it's a cash game, so you can be like, all right, we're going to go multiple times, and, we'll chop up the pot based on that. He loses both because he doesn't improve, so he somehow jack high manages to win. And then there's this furor afterwards. He's confused because she has this weird speech play during it where she's like, I don't know if I have anything. He's like, do you have a pair? Do you have a pair or anything? She's like, no, I don't. It turns out later on she thought she had Jack-3. She thought she had bottom pair. A 3 came on the turn. So she thought she was just calling down an aggressive player with at least a pair, but she didn't have a 3. She had a 4. So then they got into it online. He accused her of cheating and stormed off the set. She then just was like, I didn't cheat. I'll beat you heads up for rolls, which is just poker parlance for like, let's just bet it all and I'll show you who's boss, even though she's clearly not anywhere near as good of a player as him. Then like the Huffington Post outlets got a hold of it and it turned into a whole, this is because she's a female player, which, to be clear, to some extent it is, because women in poker just don't get respect, whether they deserve it or not. It was just this massive thing that I wanted to spend like 20 minutes on. I wanted to give you like a full rundown and have you guys give your thoughts, but then I realized I was falling into my own trap of like caring way too much about shit that doesn't matter.
Well, you know what? I'm going to stand winning at any cost. So you know what? I'm for it. It doesn't really sound like she cheated, but if she did, good. If she got away, did she win money at the end of the day?
Yeah, she won like $250,000 on that hand.
Win at any cost.
Then returned his half of it because he either threatened her in a hallway or she offered it to him as a make good, depending on whose story you believe. So it's just a massive mess.
Here's what I hate. If you're going to accuse cheating, you damn well better have something other than you beat me in a hand that you shouldn't have beat me in. That's Phil, oh God, what's his name? The Poker Brat.
Hellmuth.
Phil Hellmuth territory.
And to be clear, I'm glossing over details of this, but like there was a cup on the table that seemed to be vibrating, but it could be explained by just her like jostling her leg, which she does in other hands. There was a question of if other players at the table were giving her hand signals, which is difficult to prove if the camera's not on them on stream. There's the RFID chips in the cards themselves, which allow the streams to pick up what everybody has when the cards are face down. There was did somebody hack into that and pass her information? She has a ring, a very prominent ring on her finger that she's like toying with the whole hand and then takes off as soon as things get dicey, which could just be a nervous tick. Like, there's really nothing to the cheating allegations, but clearly Garrett, who has had a pretty unblemished poker career, thought something was awry to the point where now he's made kind of like slanderous statements about her because you can't just accuse somebody of cheating without being able to back it up. So it's turned into this massive thing over one poker hand with a really obscure ending. He's
just mad that he got beat on a bunch of shit. And here's the thing. If she thought she had something she didn't, and she lost, she's like, oh, I thought I had a royal flush. Turns out I had nothing. They wouldn't be like, oh, no, you thought you had it, though, so we're going to redo the hand. No, she loses. Mm-hmm. The opposite is true, too. That's poker. I had that happen one time. I thought I didn't have anything. I had a flush. I won.
The odds are good. She's an amateur. She's played at some things like this before. It's not a complete newcomer, but odds are she misread her hand, didn't realize it, and didn't know what to do on stream and just kind of lied about it because you don't want to admit that like you made a big mistake, especially if you intend to keep playing. That's just kind of puts a target on you. Then she kind of doubled down on the idea that she knew what she was doing all along, when the fact remains, if she did, it was a monumentally terrible play that happened to work out. Like, okay, you read that he might have had a flush draw. Okay, great. Well, you still had jack high. So if he had like king queen of clubs, which still has no pair, you're absolutely fucking crushed. So it's just she tripled down on her being like, I knew it all along, and he doubled down on the cheating, which he can't prove. It's just an absolute like black mark on poker right now.
You gotta win at any cost. The people putting stuff in the fish, did they win the $300,000?
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even know really who won in this because she basically returned the money anyways. He tarnished his reputation. She has faced a maelstrom of controversy. And the thing that cheaters can't explain is, like, if this was somehow fixed, you would have to, A, know the cards involved, which means probably the RFID thing, and B, know that they were going to rabbit hunt. Like, why would you offer to run it? She offered to run it twice. Why would you offer to run it twice if you knew you were going to win the hand anyways? And then why would you pick this spot? Why wouldn't you just cheat in a spot where you could be like, oh, yeah, she's like a 75% favorite, and we know it's actually 100%, so she's going to win. Not, this is the most suspicious-looking fucking call in poker history. Yeah. Let's make that the time we make our play.
But what if it was like the cheaters in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
Where like they had it and he just
too greedy, too many moving pieces.
The dumbest guy in the world cheating on national TV.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
The difference is Occam's razor, the simplest thing, supports the idea that that was just a bunch of dumbasses who got in above their head in water and just didn't know what to do. Whereas like the reverse has to be true here. To suspect her of cheating, you have to make like 6 different logical jumps that don't make any sense. So just a massive, confusing, weird thing that obviously a lot of poker pros and just even non-poker players have chimed in on. And that was the biggest thing that was annoying to me, was like all the people coming out in defense of her who are like, well, he was bluffing and then she was bluffing and then obviously that was fine. It's like, you can't bluff call. That doesn't exist. No. You don't have to know about advanced fucking poker theory and GTO to understand that that's not a fucking thing. So I was just like, okay, I needed to separate myself.
Bluff call. That's a great new term, Chris.
Go watch the hand. It's like a 6-minute clip. You can find it on like Twitter. It's been passed around a million times over the last couple of days. even the announcers are just like, what in the world is happening? And Garrett's reaction live before he went off the handle and started like running away down the hallways and accusing her of cheating, he's just like open mouth confused for like 2 minutes straight. So it's fascinating stuff involving $250,000 on a poker table.
Cool. Well, you know me, win at any cost.
That's right.
And speaking of knowing me, we come to my segment. So I was watching the Always Sunny podcast, and they had a version of the Newlywed Game on their podcast, which is basically asking each other questions to see if they know about each other. Easy. So I thought, wow, that's really fun. We should do something like that. We know each other in some ways more than others, and I think that that'd be fun to do it ourselves. So here's the idea. I'm going to ask the group a question. I had to think about how this is going to work a lot, because here's what they did on their shows. Each panelist got their own set of questions. I think it's fun if we all get the same questions. I think it's more fun that way. So I'm going to ask the group a question. On your board, you're going to write the answer that applies to you. Then one by one, we're going to select a cast member, say what we think that they said, and then they are going to reveal their board. So it's not going to be like we're writing for every person. You're only writing for yourself and then doing the reveal. The others are just speaking verbally, Dave, out loud, what they think that person would say. Again.
Thank you. I was unaware what verbally meant.
Yeah. So that's why I want to explain it to you. So, again, it's less important what the truth is. And I'm sure we're going to come into some situations where one of us knows better than the person answering what the real answer is. It's more important to match, right? And then we'll have a couple like matching ones that are different, but we'll get to that when we get to them. So that's my idea. That's the game. Audience, the two people that are listening, feel free to play along. And we're going to start with an easy one. Okay. So what is your biggest pet peeve?
So you're writing it down, Sean, and we're trying to guess what it is.
We're all writing.
You're right. So you're writing yours.
He didn't listen to your explanation.
I mean, I wrote.
Now you know how I feel. Sorry, I just talked over you.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah, we're each writing down our answer, but then we're going to guess one by one, going through the individuals to see who gets it right.
Mine's like ultra specific.
What bothers me these days?
I have something. Great radio, guys. This is perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, you're supposed to be talking through your answers like I did, you know?
Yeah, but
and you could have taken the cue, but you didn't.
Well, so I'm just trying to think of like you guys. But I know sometimes you know someone so well that you're like, God, which one is it?
Yeah, well, right, and then you got to know them so well to say like, what are they gonna say? You guys aren't gonna get mine. I'm really screwing myself over too, because it's just no good. So we're gonna go with, let's go with Chris first. But you're not gonna reveal yet. We're gonna give you the guess first. So you're really ready to flip. Yeah. So Chris, I'm gonna say specifically, stupid people who write into the paper. That's my guess.
That's a good one. I was gonna say people who like flake out, who say they're gonna do something and then not do it.
That's more like mine. But Chris, okay, go ahead.
That's the good one.
Hold this in a way that doesn't reflect our own fucking podcast.
No.
There we go.
I like it.
No, I see it. Yeah.
Doing things a second time.
Man, I will spend as much time as is necessary on something, even the most laborious fucking like painstaking things, but if somebody screws something up and I have to start from scratch, there's not too many times I get super annoyed, but that's one quick way to find it.
So, and does this also count when we have to do the podcast a second time because we lost the first one and we tried rehashing the same jokes?
Essentially that, or like, you know, there was one point early on in the development of the game show where everything I'd done I had to start over because there was like one problem in OBS that ruined the whole thing. So I just kind of walked away from it. Video games, I'll do that if a save gets corrupted and I lose an hour or two. It's like, I'm not going to play it for a bit. Because if I try and hop back in, I'm just pissed off about it. So if I can get over it. If it's a week or two later, I'll be like, all right, let's tackle that again and keep going. But in the immediate aftermath, fuck that. I had too little time to be wasting it on stuff that has to be done a second time.
Yeah. So Dave, I'm going to go with overly negative people. slash people who are negative for like no good reason, or they want to be negative all the time.
Let's see. I haven't really been thinking about what I was going to put for the two of you. For Dave, by the way, the one for me about like people not showing up on plans is pretty close.
We have that in common then.
Yeah, I think in general, I think all three of us are pretty fastidious when it comes to
fucking
plan
commit
making.
to something,
Yeah.
goddamn do it.
If you
don't want to commit, don't say you're
that's
gonna do
fine.
it.
Sure, no big deal. But if you're gonna make plans, like I'm gonna set aside time for you because it's important to me. Make sure it's important to you. For Dave, I will say. What did you say again, Sean?
I said like overly negative people.
Okay. I will say people who lack common sense.
Reality TV.
And this is the guy you wanted to watch the challenge.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an uphill battle now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the problem is that I could probably ask me tomorrow and I might have a different answer, but this is what was on my mind at the moment for some reason. I'm like, oh God, reality TV sucks. I hate it so much. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess technically Doug is right. We both got that one correct.
Reality, yeah, no kidding.
They lack common sense.
Because I can tell you how many times Dave has given the speech about like you were actually living in the best time ever, but people just want to like focus on like how like this isn't the same as when we were growing up and it's a terrible time. And
I mean, I'll say this for him: this has been consistent. He has long hated reality TV. I mean, this goes back decades. But I didn't think it was his number one.
Okay, it's my turn.
Okay.
What is the thing that peeves you the most? Sean, I was gonna say it is people that immediately hate something without giving it a shot. Like maybe you give a recommendation and they immediately hate it.
I was going to laugh if it was just Dave, which he's kind of just described in his answer, but he wrote for way too long for that to be the case.
It's me. I'm your biggest pet peeve.
That's right. It's what the show's been built on, a foundation of hatred from the word go. I will say, God, the plan one was a good one too, but I don't think that's it. Man, I feel like I don't know pet peeves very well.
Yeah.
Like I know
well, we talk about how many years did we do the lightning round where it's just complaint after complaint?
Mm-hmm. I at least want to get like a halfway decent answer. I'll say when a piece of media underwhelms relative to expectations.
That's a good one. I fucked up. It's my segment. I went way too specific. People who don't like passive aggression, who say, I hate it when people are passive aggressive. Because no, you don't. You would rather somebody come straight out and complain to your face? No, a little bit of passive aggressive is fine.
No,
that's been killing
you're right.
me lately.
I should have been your pet peeve because I fucking hate passive aggressiveness. Fucking tell me what to your face.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But the problem. No. Wait. Yeah. But that's like the problem. I don't know if I believe that. Everybody's like, just don't be passive aggressive. It's like if you have such a problem with passive aggressive, there's no way me being direct was gonna fix that at all. You're still gonna get mad.
If you got a problem with me and you come to me and say, hey, guess what? There's this issue. I would like to discuss it with you because I think I want to find a middle ground to bring this to your attention instead of being like, gosh, I hate when someone leaves the refrigerator door open. Man, I think that sucks.
I sure do hate when people write down dumbass answers on their whiteboard.
Yeah, so here's, even though, Dave, we're already fighting, but you're going to like this. So I didn't go over the scoring system. 2 points for correct answer for a match straight on. Dave, your goddamn camera's blurry again. But it was going to be half a point or like 1 point because I wasn't going to do 1.5s. For an answer that like made sense or was like pretty close. Dave, I'm going to give you a point because that's the answer I should have done. I think... there was a few big elements. One of the reasons like I just got fed up with Michelle was constantly recommending something, her being like, that's shit. That's garbage. It's like, what? Have you seen it? No, but I've heard so much about it. Okay, well, awesome. Thanks for that. Yes, that is a huge pet peeve. You're just getting me riled up. So for that, you get a point.
Sweet, because honestly, lately, for whatever reason, in the car, at work, when I don't have something I need to focus on, I'm just like doing busy work. I've been listening to our old episodes, and it's funny. I just like went through the old Michelle arc. I'm like, oh yeah, man, we got into it sometimes.
It's a Michelle arc. I like that too. That's the era.
We have arcs.
Yeah,
there's closet arc, Chicago arc,
Dave's being gone.
Dave Family
like,
Man
is an
arc.
Era. Yeah.
Dave
Mary
and Michelle
Van-
arc, where they were a pseudo couple on the show for a while, not anywhere near real life, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the on-screen
were they?
relationship,
Just
they like
one-
always seem to
one
go in
time-
sync.
One time you said, Chris, that the fans were shipping Michelle and I.
Yeah. I'm sure it's true. Whatever fans we had at the time.
That's right.
So what is the movie that is most likely to make you cry?
Ooh.
It's going to be a tough one. Naturally, I mean, like, I'm not trying to cheat, but I, in thinking of the question, I have mine. But that's good, because now I can vamp while you guys think about it.
This is gonna be difficult because a movie has never made me cry.
But then, like, if there was a movie to do it, what gets you? What makes you think
And
about
that's not
crying?
me trying to be like, I'm machismo. I would never cry. Like movies, just I don't really connect with them that well.
If
so I
you
don't
were
watch
a
ton.
crier, what would
There's
do
stuff that
it?
makes me cry that I would admit to.
Yeah,
It's not movies.
no. What if it's like a sports movie?
That was a TV show
So,
that's done it. but-
No one will ever guess what I have written down.
Is a TV show that did it? Is that just because like there's so much time to like get to know the
I
characters?
think
Is that
so.
the difference?
I think it's a more long-term thing.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess. I'm gonna guess a TV show for Chris. Actually,
Okay, but that'll be the second thing because I said
Oh.
movie. I already guessed a
Um,
movie for Chris. We'll do a bonus round, and if you're close, I'll give you a point. I'm feeling generous today.
all right. Okay, let's.
I'm trying to think of a movie that's made me sad. Like
Oh,
I'm just
come
trying.
on.
I'm trying to start there and work backwards. I watch a lot of fucking Disney movies, comedies, and superhero flicks.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's some Disney movies though. But I don't want to tip the hand too much, so I'm going to stop there.
All right. So
So I'm going to go. I'm going to go Dave first
okay.
because it sounds like
Uh,
Dave's ready. I'm going to go Coco. You talked about Coco.
Yep. I wrote down something different, but that is.
Well, no, you can't change it. You can't change it. You got to keep
Okay,
it.
I'll keep on here, but Sean, you're right.
Okay.
You're 100% right.
But if it's not a match,
that could
that's
be
not a
that's
full
still
point.
1 point though with
Yeah,
the
it could
scoring
be a- it's
system.
gonna
So
be
it's
a
not
1
like it's an
point.
all or nothing
Yeah,
I feel
proposition.
stupid for what I've written. But what I wrote was the first thing that ever actually made me cry. But Coco nowadays, yeah, that last
Yeah.
Remember Me, fuck.
Up didn't make me cry, says Maisie. No. I think the opening is very touching and extremely well done, but did it affect me personally? No. Maybe if my grandparents or one of them had passed away before I saw it, that might have hit me differently now, but then, no, not really. For Dave, fuck me. Dave's seen like 6 movies total, so let's just pick one of them. God. It took me so long to get my own answer. I haven't been thinking about
While you're thinking, Chris, I realized, Dave, for all of us, we got to be careful not to like. So I'm gonna guess, and then Dave, you can give your. But don't be like, you got it. Wow, that's amazing. Because then Chris can be
Fair.
like, oh, well, I
Fair.
guess
I
that
was also
too.
going to say Coco. That's so weird. I can get 1 point if I say Coco.
Yeah.
Whereas my dumbass guess probably going to be worth 0. I will say The Lion King.
That is not what I wrote down.
That is
What?
one that you did like quite a bit.
See,
I would
that's-
never have guessed
That's a
it.
deep cut.
And
I
it
don't
wasn't that I
remember
liked
that.
it quite a bit. It was just truly whatever reason. I remember watching it and like Snoopy left and all the kids were crying and I'm like, why am I crying right now? What is going on?
But here's the type. But you've already addressed this, so I'm not gonna give you too much shit for it. But like, the question was, what movie will like make you cry? Now, not like when you were 5. What movie got you? But
No,
you,
no, it
you
wasn't
did.
5.
You got there.
No, I was like 30.
Oh, okay. So that's a little better then. All right, we'll go me next.
Okay, yeah, Sean. Chris, you can guess first.
This is way too specific again. There's a at least this one. There's a small chance that you would know this one. I'm really selling it. So.
Yeah. Silver Linings Playbook.
I do like that movie.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess The Room because it was so bad.
No.
The Room. Yeah, not Room with Brie Larson, which was great.
He unironically liked how bad that was.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of good scenes. Do you guys remember me talking about Coda at all?
No.
Fuck. So it's the sign language movie. And I watched it the first time, teared up. Watched it the second time, 2 different times at least. There's a time when she's singing and the deaf dad like to experience this, his daughter who can like sing, and like what a weird thing that is for him. He like touches his hands to, like her vocal cords as she's singing. Very sweet. And then as she's doing her final song, she's signing it to her parents in the stands. And that's the other one. Just tears every time. Love that movie. You should watch it. Best movie of 2021.
So I'm finding that parent, and this is the cliche and you can shit on me for it, but I'm finding that parent-child relationship stuff affects me because I've been reading Harry Potter with my kids, with Caitlin, and we watched the 4th Harry Potter movie, and they showed the scene where Cedric dies at the end, and his dad is like crying over him. Oh, my boy! I was like, oh my God. And I actually was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry right now because he just lost his kid. And like, I can't even imagine this. And oh God, this hurts. Oh my God.
You should watch this movie, Dave, Coda. Yeah. It's on Apple TV. It's probably a lot of places now. Watch it. It's really good.
I like that even me, the person who is not engaged with Harry Potter, knows that reference.
Yeah.
Let's do an easy one. This one's gonna really reward, and I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna get you guys are gonna be better. What was your first job?
I have to guess.
We have to wait. What? Oh, for Chris? No, for you.
I have to guess for Chris. I have not guessed Chris's.
That's right. I'm still holding a whiteboard.
It's a lot to juggle.
I'm a contestant for once.
Okay. I don't even think I guessed Sean's yet, so this is great. I haven't guessed yours yet, Sean. You said it was Coda.
I thought you did guess.
No, I didn't. Chris's guess that I have for him is Tangled when Flynn Rider dies.
Tangled. That's a good guess. I'm gonna go with Inside Out. When Binky dies, or whatever stupid
Bing
name
Bong.
is.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. Whatever. Go! I did think of Tangled. I mean, I love Tangled.
Yes.
I love Tangled. I get teary-eyed at Tangled sometimes, but like kind of in the happy parts. I just think they're so like sweet and nice.
Yeah, a lot of joy in that movie.
Yeah, really,
happy
truly.
Right now.
Inside Out would be relatively high on the list. I don't know if it's worth a point or not. I'm not. It would be like 3rd or 4th probably. If
I got a reaction from you that was like, "Oh my God, you're so right," then maybe. But no point for that.
Bing Bong is sad. It pulls the heartstrings, but the whole conceit of the movie is kind of to do that. So I don't know that it really affects me as a one individual moment that much.
So Dave, you haven't even heard of Coda, so
I don't think you would have said it.
No, I don't know. What's your guess?
Of yours?
Yeah.
God, I was gonna say like the Avengers because somebody dies.
Yeah, great. No, that was almost a negative point for that one. First
of
all,
Tony
nobody
Stark.
dies in the Avengers except for Phil Coulson. I'm
Tony
not
Stark
gonna
dying.
cry for Phil
got to
Coulson.
him. He was like, "I am Iron Man," and then he activates the 6 stones, and oh my God.
No, but this is one of the complaints I have is like I've never even gotten really bent out of shape in an Avengers movie. It's like I like them a lot, but like, great cinema. I don't think they are. They're not going to affect me in that way. Anything with relationships, even bad movies will make Maisie cry. She does do that though, and it's actually terrible. There will be a movie where somebody dies, and she'll be like, "I don't want you to die." So it's not even like fun crying. It's like she's actually traumatized personally.
My TV guess for Chris was going to be Scrubs at the very end.
I mean, but I know that too. So it's
man, that fucking Brendan Fraser reveal.
Yeah.
Nice to see him
right now.
Yeah, he's making a resurgence. Good for him.
Yeah.
I think mine would probably be like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, maybe a couple times. I'd have to think about TV, but that wasn't one of the questions, so I'm not going to waste my brain power on it.
All right,
yeah, Steins Gate got me.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking suicide note.
Yeah. Okay, first job.
We're just writing down our first job. Okay.
Your first job. That's the game.
Okay, easy enough.
And I would say first job. So if a neighbor paid you 50 cents to mow the lawn, we're not.
No, paying job.
Okay, I'll go first. I didn't go first yet. I'm trying to make it fair.
Okay. So Sean, your first job, I'm hoping Sonic.
Okay, Chris.
I should know this, but I don't. Grocery store.
Grocery store.
I couldn't tell you which one. That's why I was hesitating.
Yeah, and I almost went Bashes, but I was like, no, let's be real and say grocery store. For probably 6 months, Dave, I was at a grocery store, and I did the ice. I was the ice boy, self-appointed ice boy. And I started at Sonic because, like, I want a little bit of extra money. And in about a week, I realized it's just a waste of time. I'm making so much more money at Sonic. Let's not even bother the grocery store anymore. Like 4 extra hours of Sonic instead of 8 hours at the grocery store. I'm making just as much, if not more.
Yep.
So let's go
Boom.
Sonic.
Tips. That's why people fight for him.
Yep.
All right. Guess mine.
I should go first because I'm sure Chris will know this. You were never served. This is hard, actually.
I've talked about it many times.
GameStop. GameStop clerk. That's my guess.
Not my first.
McDonald's.
There you go.
McDonald's.
Chris got it right. McDonald's.
All right.
See?
Chris is
There it
cleaning
is.
up on this one.
Yeah, well.
Him and Andy.
Well, I want to have some that actually reward, like, that's a fact. It's a fact that this is your first job. He's being rewarded for remembering.
For remembering it. I hope I'm not wrong about this, Chris, but, I mean, Sean, you take your guess.
I was going to say grocery store. Again,
Bashes. I'm hoping that indeed was your first job.
I wrote it specifically, although we would accept grocery store, but
no.
It was Bashes. It was for 2 years. I quit on my birthday. It was freeing.
My favorite stories that you ever told us about Bashes when you basically went to the bathroom for an hour and a half because fuck it.
Yeah, I would read video game magazines in there. I mean,
also
look,
did
I worked really hard for the first year and a half and got no raises and no one gave a shit and there was no promotions. I would have liked to have been a cashier and I could have done it. I mean, I had a background at grocery stores in my fucking family. I was familiar. But once that became clear, I also started stealing.
That's good.
So I'll just go ahead and admit that and go ahead and get myself canceled.
You have before on the show.
Yeah, I think I have told that story where I was like, here's a liter of Dasani. I'm just going to drink it and not pay for it. Here's it wasn't anything major, but just stopped caring. As I think most 16 and 17-year-olds probably do. Like the idea that like, oh yeah, those are going to be our most committed workers. Like, you're a fucking teenager. What are you thinking?
Chris is just kidding, everybody. He meant stealing hearts.
That's right.
Of all the young ladies that came
all
in.
the customers' hearts.
All the middle-aged cashier women loved me for reasons that are probably not worth discussing.
Okay, so we're gonna do a new type really quick. It's a matching question. So nominate someone that you would select for the drinking game Hunger Games. Okay, so beer pong, all that little darts. All that stuff. Someone has to play out of the 3 of us. Who are you selecting? And it's a point for every match.
Okay.
So now we can all reveal if everybody's ready.
That's right. I have my whiteboard up.
Hey. Oh, and I should have said you can nominate yourself if you think that is the correct answer. Would you have changed it to yourself, Chris?
No.
Okay. So Dave can probably drink the most out of all of us, although I don't know. I can kind of hold it pretty well. I get sick though. I don't get buzzed. I just get sick.
It's a matter of can versus want.
But here's the thing, Chris. The way he plays it, you're not gonna have to drink because he's good at the throwing the thing and all that type of stuff.
I picked him.
Yeah. So, okay. You and I, Dave, we got a point.
We did. Chris did not get a point.
No,
because it was himself.
Chris was humble and was punished for it. All right. So there's a question. Let's see. Oh. Okay. This is a fun one. You have to give a TED Talk. What is your topic? That you're speaking on. So basically, what is your area of expertise?
I understand now.
Yeah.
I thought you said TikTok, and I was like,
you are making a TikTok.
What the fuck?
What's your video? K's,
some TikToks are specialized in one thing. I was like, what?
I truly do not. I have never downloaded it. I never will. I'm not a TikTok person. Call me old. I don't care. Not doing it. What is my TikTok going to be about?
I have seen TikToks.
I have seen them because people send them to me and I watch them on the website and I'm like, well, not downloading this.
Yeah. And it was the same with Vine too. So it's not like a recent development. It's like,
They just monetized it. Let's see. What was my TED Talk going to be about?
God, my handwriting is trash.
But there's a lot of different ways I can go with those.
Oh, I should say it now. Some of these questions I pulled from the Always Sunny podcast as well because I was like, that's a creative question.
Plagiarism.
I like it. So just want to shout that out. I feel better about it because it's not like the Always Sunny podcast made this game up.
No.
It was on for many years.
Many years. Very popular show.
I always thought it was funny when they would start fighting on the Newlywed Show. I thought that was a really bad sign. Dave, we're going to go with you.
All right.
So
I think the worst sign, by the way, the fighting was a bad sign. The worst sign was when they got like no points. Even if they didn't start fighting, you're like, you don't know even some of the questions are kind of goofy sometimes, right? You know, what's your husband's favorite color of grass? Whatever the fuck. Like, but some of them are pretty basic, and when they didn't know, you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. Why are
Where
you
did your
married?
husband
Why
propose
did
to
you go on the show? Both questions that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, yours is a little tough. I would say I'm going to go. You had a choice. You could have gone with like really boring or you could have gone with kind of fun. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to say like how to sports gamble effectively.
I will say deconstructing the popular television show, The Orville.
Come on. No way. You're not an expert. This is such bullshit.
Well done, Chris.
Unbelievable.
I am so proud of you right now.
You don't even know how to just deconstruct a TV show.
I
You can't give a TED talk about like you got. I just really like the Orville.
See, Dave is complimenting me for getting it right, but I'm gonna say it's because it's the thing he doesn't shut up about.
Yep, that's why I wrote it down.
Which, hey, I have things I don't shut up about either. So.
Excuse me, Dave. What is the symbolism of the Orville? Well, yeah, that's a great question. I don't really know, but I do like it a whole lot. That's Dave's TED talk on the Orville. Admit it. He's shaking his head because I'm exactly right.
Because I'm not gonna go do it right now. I'm not on a TED Talk stage.
So you gotta pay him.
Right. You're like, people gotta pay for that shit.
Pay
I'm not gonna
me.
do it for free.
These are my thoughts. These are IP in here.
You don't get that shit for free.
All right. Chris, I'm low hanging fruit, but I'm gonna go with how to run a newspaper awesomely.
I thought about guessing that, but I was on a media kick in my head on this. So I was gonna write. I wrote Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger is good. Podcast is good. Journalism ethics.
Close enough.
I'm gonna give myself only 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's on the right track.
I should have just done it.
Okay. So mine. It's my turn.
Okay. This is a little bit of a
Wait, actually,
throwback
you know what? Let
again.
me pause you. I'm so sorry. Ethics. That's interesting to me. Why? I do want to hear why you put ethics.
Because to me, TED Talk is more about like advanced concepts more than just low-hanging fruit. So it's not just. I mean, I know they have some on just popular culture type stuff too, but it was more about like, let's get into. And I've done speeches about this before, so it seemed like an easy fit. Like I've talked before, like Lions Club folks and like different people around Flagstaff about it, so it seemed like a natural fit.
I think it's so interesting. This isn't exactly ethics, but the thing that stuck out to me the most in my journalism class wasn't like, here's the conjunctive or whatever. It was, don't write shit like only 3 people died in this natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Big no, because people are immediately going to take that and be like, well, my husband was one of the 3 people, so you don't care about him?
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff.
Same if you call people old. And, you know,
Yeah.
you could mean like 80 plus, but then the people who are 80 plus who consume that content go, well, wait a minute. What are you saying that about me for?
Oh, so I'm just old, huh?
I'll derail quickly for like
Yeah.
a 45-second version of it. I gave a speech once that involved basically showing people how complicated a simple story can be. We were going to write about a new business in Flagstaff. Some of the easiest stuff you can write, you know, people just talking about what they offer and how excited they are. And then it turned out that I had to change all the details to make sure I didn't out somebody in Flagstaff. But basically it was like the 2 owners contacted us afterwards and asked if they could only name their daughter in the story and not the 2 of them. They wanted to stay anonymous. And it was a Mexican restaurant. And it turned out that the 16-year-old daughter was also the person that the title of the building was deeded to. And we very quickly realized they're illegal. Like, we have just... And they agreed to do a story. Now, again, not everybody fully understands journalism. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, you realize this is going to go in a newspaper. So if you're really trying not to call attention to yourself, this is the antithesis of what you should be doing, right? So then I posed a bunch of questions to this group and made them answer in pairs and stuff like, what would you do? Would you spike the whole story? Would you grant anonymity? Would you do all these things because all the cascading effects this could have? So it's a thorny issue, and I think people don't realize it because, like anything, if you don't work in it, you don't really realize the depths it can go to.
So you already did a TED Talk. So that's nice. I like that. That caveat.
Yeah, it was a fun example to bring up again. I changed names, details, but it was one where I was like, this is a perfect example to test the group because it's like, if you put the story out, you might get them rounded up by ICE. So, exactly. How much is the story worth to you? What other restrictions would you put on it, or would you spike the whole thing? You
got to stick to your guns. You know what? You got to tell the truth. That's what Phoenix Wright taught.
Which that means that, from my perspective, we sent a reporter out there multiple times for interviews. We sent a photographer out there, and we had to throw it all away.
Yep.
Because the harm the story would do outweighed the good, even though the good was such a simple layup that
exactly.
So every story somewhere lurks behind it like some kind of massive problem.
Yep.
Okay, that's the end of my TED Talk.
All right.
Thank you.
So guest for Sean again, media kick. Sean, you're gonna write on the hidden meaning behind the 100.
I mean, I could actually do it.
I'm gonna take a thing that's not correct, but I think should be. And it is, I'm going to use deconstructing again because I used it for Dave and I think it's funny. Deconstructing the timeline effects of BioShock Infinite.
Ooh.
Which you have done.
I basically did do that, yeah.
You have written that, yeah.
You know what,
it's not what you wrote, but.
I'm going to give you a 0.5 for that one because I actually, in a way, was doing that. I set out my theory and people in the comments would argue or agree and then I'd explain it further. I really knew that very well. I went with, so I took a master's class in writing, but I thought, am I really going to say I'm the expert on writing? I don't have a novel out there published. Few short stories at most is what I've done. So I thought something I feel really comfortable and I've made a career out of it is how to edit / rewrite effectively, stories and stuff. So it's kind of getting into Chris's territory, but at every job I had, I've worked with writers where they turn in a story and I have been close, but not quite. And here's what you can do to punch up the beginning. And here's why you need to have this transition here because it makes the whole thing flow better. And at the end, you don't really have a point. So we need to put that in. I've gotten really good at it. So that's what I would give a TED Talk on is how to steps to writing feature stories effectively.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So back to the lumberjack. That's 20 years now.
Truly. That's where I learned a lot of stuff. So at the break, we probably have time for 8:14, maybe 2 more questions. We have, here's the points. Chris is winning by 0.5.
Chris is 65. Oh my God.
Great.
Okay. So
6.5 for me, 6 for Dave, 5 for Sean for our audio.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I should have done that. Yeah. Okay. What is your biggest / most expensive shopping addiction?
There's really 2 answers to this. It gives you 2 opportunities to get it right.
Oh my God. Addiction means something that I would buy frequently.
I'm a dick.
I'm addicted to you. Okay.
Oh.
Dave's is hard. Dave's is the hardest one, I think.
Right, because there is no discretionary spending. It's just
I mean, he spends money on nothing. The cans of beans probably would be his shopping addiction.
He's addicted to fixing his air conditioner.
I mean, Goodwill is a store, right?
Yeah, exactly. What if you're addicted to not spending to the point where your family feels like they're in poverty, even though they're not? That's what I answer for Dave. Okay, we're gonna go me first again.
Yep. All right, we're guessing Sean. Okay. God,
mine is specific, but if you know it, it's an absolute slam dunk.
I'm gonna guess you are TV show collectibles. You like some collectibles. I'm hoping. In your room you have those.
All right.
I'm just gonna guess TVs.
I don't have that many TVs. One of them I got for free. It wasn't even my fault.
Hey, I have 4. Well, had 4 in this house. I just gave one away.
Lululemon. And it's bad. And I just buy. I don't need it. And I've more than once I've been I'll make a Lulu purchase. And I'll be I'm good now. I have 15 shirts, 20 pairs of shorts. I'm set. And 3 months later, I'm oh, there's a sale. I can get it a little bit. Or I walk by the store. It's I could do another pair of shirts.
A pair of shirts. That's fun.
Pair of shirts. Yeah, that's 2 different shirts. Exactly.
That's a good answer. That I wasn't sure how much of that was you and how much of that was Maisie. I knew it was both.
Yeah, no, Maisie would actually. I'm way worse than her.
The funny thing, I earlier today, Sean, I literally pulled up Lululemon's website. I'm like, I need something for athletic, like a good athletic shirt. And I looked. I'm like, okay, I can buy this athletic shirt for $125. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, there are some that are a little bit better, but like you're looking at like $75 to $120 every shirt.
Yeah, I know.
And 75 might be way more than you're willing to spend, and I wouldn't blame you for that. Okay, so well, let's go, Chris.
I am a man who now has spent like $90 on one pair of jeans just once, but I found a pair of jeans I really liked, and now I'm like, should I get more? And I'm like, I don't know. I already bought one pair of jeans. I don't know if I need any more than that.
Okay, so we're guessing Chris's.
Yeah.
I am going to just go with flat out just video games. I mean, you buy a lot of them, and you have a lot of them still stored, so I'm going to go with that.
He said video. My own
video games.
Video games. See, I think I'm more addicted on video games than Chris. I own so many.
Now, in the past, I think Chris was more so.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to go with discs.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. It's like it could be games. It could be. I also thought about TVs for myself because it's like the one big electronic thing I splurge on. And then I realized I got 4 discs in the mail 5 days ago. A package arrived yesterday, and I ordered 2 more today. There's probably like $1,000 worth in my car.
See, it's cheating because when I go to the mail, I'm like, oh, like a box for me. And then, oh, what's this? Oh, it's a disc for Chris.
Yeah, it's always the same shaped square box.
Here's the unfair advantage you have by living with each other that I don't get.
Exactly. So I need to do the next question. Will remedy that because I want to reward your guys' history.
You gotta do me. Haven't done me.
No, I know. I'm just saying the next question. I'm gonna do you,
Okay.
but I'm thinking because yours is harder. God, I had an idea and I forgot it.
Chris, go.
He's writing something. I don't
Keep
know.
in mind, you don't spend money on anything, okay?
No.
And I was gonna go with like sports tickets, but what are we doing now? Like once a year, maybe. So I didn't go. I'm going gaming because you've spent money on systems and video games, and for you, it's like the closest thing to like an addiction that you have. So I went gaming.
And I'm gonna say sports apparel.
Sporting event tickets.
Sporting event tickets.
Because because like when I do go, I tend to want to get something that's I don't always want to get the cheapest anymore, so I try to look for something a little bit better. But
we were just talking about that the other night, Dave. I'm gonna give Chris a point because that was pretty close.
Yeah, so I will say I thought about the thing I spend the most money on in my dreams as far as like what I would buy if I didn't have to worry about money.
Yeah, but it's not an addiction because like you're not actually spending it on there.
Well, no, here's the problem is I keep going on the website to try to like look, oh, they would cost this much, and then maybe if I did this and then I could afford it and I would get it's
well, what is it?
Tesla.
Oh, Tesla. Yeah. You can't say you're addicted to buying Tesla.
Give me a point.
But I had a I have a question we'll get to maybe in the future.
Give me a dream point. That was a dream answer. I get a dream point.
I'll tell you what. If it ends up, I'm gonna write it faded.
I don't know what my dream addiction would
Look
be.
here, I wrote it in the corner, so it's kind of like dreamy and like
yeah, it's ethereal. I like it.
Okay. So let's say what was your first car?
This is an interesting one for Chris.
First car. I have no clue on Dave and very little clue on Chris. At least have a guess on Chris.
I have absolutely no idea for you, Sean. You've never told me. Chris knows mine.
I'm sure I've mentioned it at some point.
My answer is locked in. I'm just doing a work thing.
Okay.
So whenever people are ready, don't wait on me.
I'm gonna guess on Chris first because he's the one I kind of have maybe a clue. Yep. My guess is minivan, which is gonna be a half point at best, but that's all I got.
My guess for Chris is a Subaru that broke down in the middle of Colorado.
God damn it! God damn
it wasn't my first car for very long.
It made it from Conifer to Monuments,
it got
Colorado.
towed most of the way to Flagstaff after the last leg of the trip, and then it never really started from the Seacrest parking lot, and then I got it towed over to the Subaru dealership in town, and then eventually had a different Subaru and a different car, but that was the first one. It was a whole trip for it.
Yep.
Dave, fucking Cadillac. I had no clue.
Cadillac.
Because my next guess are gonna be like sedan, 4-door car.
I
So
mean,
I'm gonna go Cadillac
if you-
because 1%er.
if you wanted to pin down the 1%er, you could guess his second car, which was a Lexus,
Oh, see, I was pretty close.
but
I
his
mean,
first
it was a
car was a
hand-me-down.
red Ford Explorer.
Dang. All right.
There it is.
So
Even
it's
has the red
9.5,
on there.
And then that's like 10.
Yep. 93 Ford Explorer.
I think I would have
Yeah.
guessed 92, but I think mine was the 92 once I
Yours
got
was
that
the
for like a
92.
year or so. I did have a
That's true,
minivan. That was like the longest car I had, and for when I was young, because that lasted for I don't know 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
So this
my
is a fun
turn.
one.
That was like my third long time car.
I get to guess Sean because I have absolutely no idea what it is, but I'm just gonna throw Dodge Neon.
Dodge Neon.
Honda
Idea why I'm
Accord.
guessing it?
Nice. Ford Taurus.
Mm.
The paint was peeling. It was a hand-me-down, but it was nice. So I said that was the last one. I'm gonna do a bonus one, and it's a two-parter. I wrote what, but I meant when. I'm assuming like it's a human. What your first kiss? When was your first kiss? And what was the context?
So I think this is better shared because this is too precise to guess. This is just probably a good sharing story instead of guessing each other's.
No, we're guessing. That's the game.
Oh my
This is
God.
Yeah, age. It's an age. I'm not saying 13 and a quarter. I'm just giving age. If you're close, you'll get a point.
Oh, when? Okay, I thought you said what. Okay, there you go. Okay, my bad.
No,
Well, that's the second half is the context, which I don't know
I
how the
see.
fuck any of us are gonna know, but.
I misunderstood. I thought you said what was like the story behind your first kiss, and I had to guess that.
Oh, I mean, a little bit. You'll see what I mean when I kind of explain. You don't have to be too
Okay.
specific, but like first date.
First kiss.
I'm locked in. I'm just over here again.
Your mom when you got a boo boo, which is probably
Yeah,
yours,
when I'm-
Dave.
When I was
but-
about 3 minutes old, my mom kissed my forehead.
When I was 4, I went trick-or-treating, and I got a Hershey's kiss.
Exactly.
I remembered it forever.
Oh, I wrote down Dave's, not mine at all. All right.
It's gonna be weird when you hold it up and Dave's like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah. Okay.
you're me."
Okay. So we will go Dave. We'll go Dave first. We haven't done Dave first in a little bit. So Dave, I actually was gonna say your mom and when you got a boo boo. But I already made that joke. So I'm gonna go 14. Homecoming.
No.
Now that I think about it, I don't know, but you can go to homecoming any year. You don't have to go just as
Yeah,
a
you
freshman. So 14 homecoming.
14, yes.
I should have
You're
gone with
right.
like 25 your wedding. But
I got married at 28. Anyway, Chris, what was your guess?
I'm gonna guess 13, and I don't know what the hell the context guess would be. I don't have a guess. I forfeit.
That's fine. So I have two. So the correct answer is 14.
holy shit. God, man,
Um,
Dave, I just know you so well.
Yeah, lucky guess. The context was there was a girl that I went to middle school with that lived right around the corner from me, and I was hanging out with her because I was going to go to Brophy the next year instead of the high school she was going to, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna miss you," and we were hanging out, and then we were gonna miss each other, and so she kissed me. And so there
She
you go.
gets you. That's sweet. I thought
Kind
you were
of,
going to be
right?
like, I know it's going to Brophy is my last chance for like 4 years.
There was a lot of flirtation that happened before then. The other weirder story, I had an almost first kiss, and I need to tell this story. I was 12 in 6th grade. There was somebody that everyone in the class said she and I needed to date. I don't know why they said that, but like we needed to. And so I'm like, okay, I'll be nice. I like girls, whatever. So we were at Waterworld, which is a water park in northern Phoenix, and
It's an aphrodisiac. Waterworld.
yeah, well, and so the funny part was we were at the wave pool, standing in the wave pool, and then literally everyone, like a lot of people around us were like, what, you're going out and haven't even kissed? Like, what are you, a prude or something? I'm like, okay, fine, like we'll kiss. And so I literally was leaning in and a wave hit me and knocked me over, and never happened.
Dave's like, I'm not a prude.
Now
why they got pulverized by a wave?
Now he's left to wonder what could have been.
Yeah. Either of these women could have been your soulmate. Dave?
No, she wasn't. I promise.
No, I think the wave made it pretty clear that the first one wasn't.
Okay. I will go me. So go ahead.
All right. So Sean, I'm gonna guess 12. And the context is this is not right at all, but you lost a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And she felt bad for you.
God, I thought you were going to be like, you lost your virginity on the same night. So you had to kiss, or else it's weird.
Yeah,
it's really gross.
We did a speed run any percent. We went from kiss to fucking... Yeah. I was going to say something mean like 19 in a Walmart bathroom, but...
yeah, well, that,
seems inappropriate.
Oh.
I will say, let's see, you said 12. I'll say 13 at a freshman mixer.
Freshman mixer. Okay, so here's the backstory of why I said context. Because it was 9 and it was a dare. It was a dare with the neighbor who were all girls, and there was a lot of flirting, but we're really, it was like third grade. I had to look up. And I was like, does it count if it's a dare? But then that's why I put it in the context. That way we don't have to worry, like, does it count or not? Was it romantic? Did you initiate? It's just like, no. Dave got kissed. I had a dare. That was it.
I was also 5 years older.
Yeah, well, I was we didn't go for a tongue. I remember the first time that we were like, we're going to French kiss my little girlfriend. We're going to do it. And it was really, really bad. We just went tongue. We led with the tongue. Yeah. Not what you do when you French kiss. That's not right. That's incorrect.
All right, Chris is...
Maisie, I know you're listening to the show. The doorbell just rang.
Anyways,
it's my turn. Guess mine.
Chris, I'm going to guess it was 14. And God, I know you had girls that you knew at your middle school, so I think it's a similar story to me in the sense that they were going to miss you.
Okay. I'm going to go with... See, that's what I should have guessed for either. One of you, I should have said... 13 or 12, because you're going to Brophy. This is your last shot. But I'm going to go with 12. I'm going to go junior high dance.
Well, guess what?
Hey!
10 dare. And 10 might not even be right. It was around 4th grade. It was either the year before or after that if it wasn't that. So it's close to that. But it was kind of the same idea. It wasn't like a peck on the cheek, like it was mouth to mouth. But, how much does it mean when you still think girls might have cooties? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, I consider it my first kiss. It was a peck, but it was the kiss.
I think Dave should get like 0.5 because there was someone I knew in middle school that I should have tried that with, but I was fucking oblivious and only found out that she had a crush on me later, even though there were plenty of signs.
Man.
But then again, I was also like 13 or 14, and it was an awkward time, so I don't kick myself too much. But I've never been the best at picking up on that, and I definitely missed the signs there. So that's on me.
I don't actually kick myself because to do that would mean like I regret. I'm very happy with where I'm at right now and with who I'm at. But I had such a crush on this girl in high school. We were like, it was so good, and I never confessed my feelings. And years later, just like it was a TV show, Jesus Christ. Just like in TV, we saw each other on Facebook or something, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I never knew why you didn't ask me out." All my family thought we were dating, and I was like, "Yeah, he never made a move. I guess he wasn't interested." It's painful.
Chris knows this story. I have such a similar story of I was waiting to ask this girl to a Christmas dance, and she had just broken up with her boyfriend. So I'm like, I'm gonna give her a couple days. I'm gonna give her some space because she just got broken up with. And I asked her on a Saturday after she got broken up with on a Monday, and she's like, "Oh yeah, somebody else already asked me." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And then years later, she was like, "Oh yeah, I had a huge crush on you. My God."
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm telling you, and that's where like legitimate people get the nice guys finish last, because some
Yeah.
guys will be like, I waited on you hand and foot, like totally like simps, and they're like, you didn't reward me. That's the weird kind of nice guy.
Yeah.
But really, there's a context of like, if you're too nice, if you're too whatever, like you got to be assertive. You got to go out there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if she broke up like 4 minutes ago. You go hit her up.
Yeah, you gotta be the first one, Dave, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So at the end of the scoring, if I have this right, and I don't know if I did, I tried. I have 9 points. Chris has 9.5 points, but 10.5 dream points. So in that regard, he really killed us. Dave, you had 8.5.
I think I have blot 0.5.
Yeah. Because I don't want to erase too much, even though it's a whiteboard. So, Dave, you know the least about us. So Chris and I should be married, according to the Newlywed Game rules, and you should be divorced from us and your family.
Oh,
and it already fits. You live together. I don't live with you.
That's true. But I threw in some old. I tried to mix it. You got the historical questions. You didn't know. It's not my fault. You didn't know his first kiss.
Well, to be fair, Chris has an advantage here of living with you and knowing me the longest. So, Sean's really.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and he won. So maybe there's something to that. But, anyways, Newlywed Game. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I have more questions, so we can revisit on a future time when we don't have a plan and you just want me to do something.
Episode, I would love to do the match game, because all I want to do is, how tall was she?
I did have more match questions. We only got to one of them, but there was a few. So next time.
Well, there you have it. Sean took the wheel. Here's where we are. Worked out pretty well.
We're married.
Lord knows that the scores were correct.
I really don't know, but I think they're pretty close, if not.
Okay. We have the Suns preview coming up in 2 weeks. We'll do that the Tuesday night right before the season opener that Wednesday. So next week's show is a bit of a question mark, but there's a couple of things we've sort of been talking about getting to. Then there will be no show on October 25th. We'll remind you as we get closer, but I'm going to be in Texas doing that thing that I'm addicted to with disc golf.
That's true.
So, yeah. So anyways, that's kind of the plan coming up. Regular show next week, and then Suns preview. We can finally get some Phoenix opinions off our chest, because there's a lot to talk about. And then a week off. So that's the plan going forward. What?
We'll see if I've healed by the time we do the Suns preview. Because I found I haven't yet. As we are thinking about the Suns and talking about the Suns, I'm like, wow, I am still pretty knifed.
I haven't even thought about Game 7 for months, and it doesn't bother me anymore. So that's nice.
Well, I'm jealous.
When a lot of people bring it up.
I still hate Luka.
I still do, yeah.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to all of our feelings. It'll be fun.
This might be the most interesting pick-a-win total we've had in a while. Because we've been pretty well grouped, because I think we're all pretty rational when it comes to our Suns fandom. But this season is a giant question mark right now. You could pick 45, and I'd be like, I don't know about that, but maybe. And you could pick 60, and I'd be like, I don't know about that, but maybe. Yeah. So we'll see. We might have some interesting bets on the line, because the last couple of years it's been 57, 58, 59, or, so not a lot to get hyped for when somebody's bet came through, because it's nonsense. But anyways, that's the end of this episode. In between shows, you can find us at our website, objectionnetwork.com, or youtube.com/objectionnetwork, where we're picking our favorites for the top 25 songs in Pokemon. And then I'm making Michaela do a Nuzlocke run after that.
Nice.
She was terrified.
Co-op Nuzlocke. That sounds fun.
That's right. You spoiled the first episode.
Oh, sorry.
See you next time.